Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you guys in the next one, maybe, if we survive. Bye.
Bye, guys.
What is happening?
Oh, no.
Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt.
And my name is Paulo, and we just spent a week with Ford's Expedition Tremor Edition.
That's right. This is the off-roadified version of their big flagship body-on-frame 3-row family SUV, and I'm going to walk you around the pros and cons.
Yes, and then we're going to get behind the wheel and talk about some of the standouts for the week and how it stacks up against some of its competitors.
Let's get into it. Now, the first con that we're going to talk about doesn't necessarily have to do with anything wrong with this vehicle. It's just kind of a wish list item that I maybe wish we could see. Now, if you really kind of zoom out and think about it, this could more or less be thought of as like an SUV-ified F-150. And there's some great powertrain options in that F-150. The Powerboost hybrid, for example. Now you get hybrid MPG. Now to be fair, this non-hybrid here is rated for about 18 MPG. We outperformed that on our Lakeshore Loop with about 19.2 MPG. It's a 30-mile mixed condition course, country roads, highway, city. And then I drove this thing to Chicago earlier this week and was getting like almost 20 MPG. So it's not bad, but it would be nice to have a little bit better fuel economy from that Powerboost. The other thing that I would like to see from that Powerboost hybrid powertrain is the Pro Power on board. We will talk about some of the trunk stuff going on and like the versatility and tailgate ability. It would be nice to have like the Pro Power onboard generator going on in the back so you could plug more stuff in. If you've got a power outage, you can run your sump pump or your fridge or things like that. It would be nice to have a little bit more versatility there. And especially here on the Tremor, the off-road one, you could power a campsite. So it would be kind of cool. Also, it would be cool to see a V8. And really the only kind of other thing that I don't like about this Expedition is there's some Tesla-fied controls going on here. And what I mean by that is you've got these little pads. They're kind of touch-sensitive pads on either side of the steering wheel. This one controls your cruise control, and this one generally controls your media. But they also control necessary functions like how to adjust your steering wheel and steering column. Now, of course, if you own the car, you'll probably set it once, have it like remember you, and then you won't have to worry about it again. But for me, testing cars, it's just a little bit cumbersome. And it's the same thing when I want to adjust my wing mirrors. I have to go into these little pads, select the wing mirror, up, down, okay, here I go, I'm good. It's just a little bit cumbersome. Now, I will say there is a saving grace here in the Expedition versus the Lincoln Navigator that we were in. The Navigator took it a step further where they removed the vent toggles. So I can adjust these myself here on the Expedition, but in the Navigator, I had to go into the screen and then position them through the screen. Just a little bit annoying. But with that, let's talk about all the great things about this Expedition. And I will admit, the Tremor package, the off-road kit here, it's pretty cool. You get legitimate off-roading stuff. You get a front recovery hook and skid plates underneath. You get rock rails / running boards down the side. You've got an e-locker. You've got trail cameras so you can spot your tolerances on wooded trails. You've got upgraded wheels and all-terrain tires, and you've got upgraded suspension for off-road duty. And you have some off-road modes with like a one-pedal kind of trail control driving assist. You've also got trail turn assist, which is that feature that we used in the Bronco to help make tighter turns, especially in something this size. That's really, really helpful. And of course, you've got a low range 4x4 setting for your all-wheel drive system. And it's not just stuff going on underneath the skin. They've made it look cool too, at least in my opinion. I like these gold accents that you get in the front fascia and on the wheel spoke and other places throughout the car. I think it just looks cool. They've done it well. And then the driving experience on this Expedition Tremor is actually better than I thought it was going to be for a big body-on-frame 3-row SUV that's been off-roadified, lifted with big all-terrain tires on here. It actually drives pretty well. Now, starting with the powertrain, we do have the 3.5 twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 with a performance pack. It's going to make about 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. That's plus 40 horsepower, plus 30 pound-feet of torque. It's really smooth power here, though, when you're in the right gear. That does need to be said. The 10-speed can sometimes get a little bit confused. I also noticed a couple times when I was setting off from a stoplight, not, super deep into the throttle or anything, just gradual acceleration, it was like chugging a little bit as it was trying to get up into second gear. I didn't notice that every day. It didn't happen all the time, but it's just something that I did notice. The only other thing, too, is this is the same powertrain that we had in the Lincoln Navigator earlier this year. But that Navigator had some crazy turbo flutter and sounds going on when you you would lift off throttle that I think was really pretty cool. You can also get a high performance exhaust on an Expedition, but 0 to 60 is good for about 6 seconds. You also, it's worth mentioning, have automatic 4x4, so you get a 4 auto setting, which is certainly nice here in Wisconsin, so it'll send power to just the rear wheels most of the time to maximize your fuel economy, and then send power to the front when it needs to in inclement weather, snow, and things that tend to happen in Wisconsin. The whole truck, 6,000 pounds, thereabout. I do feel like I sit really high. This thing does feel big and kind of hulking on the road, but not hulking in a sense of cumbersomeness. We do have fully independent suspension. You can get adaptive dampers. There's no air suspension, but the ride here is really pretty good. It kind of masks the truckishness feeling. I'm not getting a lot of like crazy rebound and jostling from the rear axle. It actually is pretty refined behind the wheel here. There's some slight tire roar from the ATX tires. Transmission's not perfect, but other than that, it's pretty nice to drive. And when we talk about the utility of the Expedition, cargo area, towing capacity, it's still really impressive. And one of the most impressive things is that you've now got a split tailgate for this year. I absolutely love this feature. I've loved it in basically everything else, Range Rovers, BMW X5s, and I love it here. You can sit up to 500 pounds on this lower portion here, so if you want a tailgate, you're even covered by the sun and the rain with this upper part of the tailgate. I absolutely love it. But more specifically in terms of the space. Now, of course, you can get the long wheelbase, and that'll get you 37 cubic feet of space behind the third row, but we don't have that one, so we've got 22 cubic feet of space. Certainly still practical. But we've got chargers, we've got some underfloor storage, and most importantly, we have this really cool table that kind of transfers into either a seat back for this bench back here, or an actual shelf that you can put stuff on, again, if you want to tailgate or camp. But let's say you just need a little bit more storage. You can fold your third row 40, 20, 40, which is pretty neat. And it power folds at that. Doesn't power fold totally flat, but still pretty impressive. With the third row down, you're looking at about 69 cubic feet of space. And if you fold everything down, at least in our short wheelbase or shorter one here, we're looking at about 108 cubic feet of space. Or if you go for the long max version, you're gonna get about 120 cubic feet of space. So the cargo practicality is absolutely immense in this thing. And then when you consider it's about 8,600 pounds worth of towing, if you get the load leveling bars, that ups it to about 9,600 pounds. This thing has the muscle to back it up, and you would expect it sharing the same kind of powertrain and frame as an F-150. And it's also nice that you get a spare underneath the body. So utility, check here in the Expedition. And the tech and safety suite is pretty impressive here as well. You've got this kind of head-up display / instrument cluster thing. It's like 24 inches wide, and I think it actually fits pretty well versus the Lincoln Navigator that we were in that had the full dash thing. That thing ended up seeming like it was kind of wasting screen space over on the passenger side. This feels like it fits just about what I want to see from a gauge cluster. It works really well. We've also got a big 13-inch infotainment system. It's a bit closer, it's touchscreen, so it's easier to use. It's running Android Automotive software. It's got Google built in and all that sort of stuff. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We've got great 360 cameras, and here on the Tremor, it's nice to have some of those trail cameras to spot side tolerances, especially in Wisconsin if you're gonna off-road. You get a lot of tight forested trails, so it's nice to have that peace of mind. And in terms of your safety suite, you've got Blue Cruise here, so it's like fully hands-off while you're keeping your eyes on the road. It's very vigilant about you keeping your eyes on the road. But then the system works pretty well. It's kind of consistently one of our top 3, top 5 systems. It'll do an extra lane, it'll do a lane change for you. You have to select the indicator, but it'll do it for you. So that's pretty cool. And you also, when you do select the indicator, it'll show up a blind spot camera like you'd see in some of the Hyundais that we've tested over the past few years and in the Navigator and those sort of things. There's a little lag when it comes up. It doesn't come up right away when you hit the turn signal, but still, it's a nice safety suite. I've got plenty of safety features. I've got plenty of tech. I've got everything that I could need here. And when it comes to styling, we touched on it a little bit earlier when we talked about some of the Tremor stuff, but I do think this Expedition looks the business. It's hard to style a big 3-row boxy ladder frame chassis SUV, but they've done well here. It also helps that our tester is draped in glacier gray metallic. It's a $1,000 option, but when the sun hits it just right in midday light, it looks spectacular. The styling, though, kind of lends to the feeling of huge and bigness that I suppose you'd expect from something like this. It's definitely got presence. Now, you can get a stealth performance package that gets you some black accents, again, not for our Tremor trim here, but here you've got Expedition spelled boldly across the front of the hood like you'd see in a Range Rover. You can get a full-width headlight that kind of runs underneath your grille and then kind of crab grabs over your projectors, but again, not for our Tremor here. But our grille here is ribbed for your pleasure, so I guess that's pretty cool. But around the side, we do have General Grabber ATX all-terrain tires wrapped around our 18-inch kind of gunmetal finished wheels. They look fantastic. They're 3-peak snow rated, and we still have that gold accent. We've got Tremor on the front door. The general profile is pretty boxy and conventional SUV. The only weird thing from a styling perspective is the fact that your back tailgate is black. You can see it here on our tester, and it's black no matter what color you get, no matter what trim you get. I'm not really sure why they did this. Maybe it's to accentuate the fact that it is a split folding tailgate, but I don't know, it's the only weird thing. Otherwise, it looks pretty cool. And if I squeeze back here into the third row, it's actually, I shouldn't say squeeze, because it's actually relatively decent space back here. Starting with getting back here, you do have a child seat friendly folding second row. So if you've got a booster seat, it's not going to crush it. But the space is pretty decent back here. And this is, again, the shorter version. If you go for the Max in a different trim, you'll get even more space back here. You can get power recline seats back here. You've got vents, cup holders, and chargers. Now, I'm 6'1". I don't want to spend a lot of time back here, but if I got the Expedition Max with a little bit more rear end space, then actually probably be pretty okay transporting 6-footers back here. But then as we move up the cabin to talk about the rear seats, they're pretty decent here as well. Now you can get captain's chairs or a bench, as you can see here. There are no rear window shades, which is a little bit odd, but maybe you can get that if you spend a little bit more money and go for a different trim. But the seats back here, they slide and recline, and it's a pretty decent space. Again, for myself at 6'1", I've got knee room and headroom. We also have a panoramic roof with a shade, which is pretty cool. And we've got some heated seats back here. You're not going to get cooled seats in the back of an Expedition, but still, it's nice to have the heated. We do have a house outlet, some USB-Cs, and some climate control stuff back here, along with some pockets and some mounts with some USB-C ports in the back. Actually, there's no mounts back here, but you do have some USB-C ports on the back side of the front seats, so you don't have to reach all the way down here if you want to plug something in, and that's just a little bit more distinguished and civilized, isn't it? And this may be the off-roadified version of the Expedition, but the cabin experience is still pretty impressive. I've got heated and cooled seats here. You can get massage. I've got a heated steering wheel. It works really well. I've got loads of storage, as you'd expect. I've got this center console thing that moves forward and backward at the push of a button. So I've got an even deeper cavern of storage down here, which is fantastic. And even if you run out of storage here in your center console, the whole dash kind of works as one big bowl to put stuff if you want to use that. It's a nice, clean design. There's a diversity of textures, materials. It feels a little bit more upmarket. There's some nice accents. Your climate controls are kind of baked into the screen, but they're always there, so I don't really have a problem with it. That seems to be what everyone's doing now. And more than that, the steering wheel. We talked about it in the Navigator. Sorry, we keep talking about the Navigator this video, but the steering wheel is a fun shape. I'm going to get into this right-hander, and then, I don't know why, I just like this. When the steering wheel is 90 degrees like that, and I'm holding it like this, it just seems kind of fun. The point is, the cabin is nice. The leather's good, the ergonomics make sense, plenty of storage, it just works. And when it comes to price, I think this Expedition's a pretty good value as well. It starts at $64,000. If you want the longer Max with additional cargo and rear seat space, you're looking at about an extra $3,000. If you want the higher trimmed Platinum, it starts at about $76,425. But our tester here with the Tremor package is testing just about $87,000. So before we get with Paulo, let's cover a couple little odds and ends. For one, we've got B&O or Bang & Olufsen audio, which actually sounds pretty good. I enjoyed it all the way down to Chicago for our Mama Fall Fest this week. And some classic Ford staples. You've got your dial gear selector and your taco style door handle. But like I mentioned earlier, you can tow quite a bit with this thing, and your steer assist for your Pro Trailer system is kind of in an interesting spot. Now, I guess you can put it away if you don't want to look at it. But you also have the ability to go into manual mode, and then you can select gears by pushing these buttons right here, which I just think would be the strangest thing to do driving down the road. There's a couple little fun quirks in here. You do have some game options that you can play here in your center console. You go back and you can even watch YouTube videos. So if you want to watch Downshift videos and help us get to 100,000 subs, I would recommend it and I would appreciate it. There's also an Expedition Easter egg on your front driver's side windshield, and there's some zone lighting stuff going on. So if you did want to take this off-road and camping, you've got lighting here and underneath your rear spoiler back here, which is pretty cool. It doesn't pivot or anything, but it's pretty nice. So with that, let's grab Paulo and go for a bit of a drive. Hey guys, real quick, Matt here. Just wanted to say I hope you've been enjoying the video. If you have, would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does go a long way in helping us get access to cars sooner and get access to manufacturer engineers so we can get more information on the cars and get you more information so you can make better decisions. So would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe, like, comment, the whole YouTube thing. But with that, let's get back to the video. Go ahead, say.
Oh, and then in regular mode, or not regular mode, balanced everyday driving mode, it's kind of shit.
Normal mode, you mean?
Well, that's what the normal mode says when I go to. There's no normal.
Yeah, that says normal. Right
Oh,
there.
up top. Yeah.
In balanced everyday driving mode.
Oh wait, I'm in.
What?
I'm in normal everyday.
It's done
mode.
that a bunch of times.
Oh, it's just a rock hitting the.
But it is always this corner.
Oh, the right. I heard it on the left the other day.
Just
too.
a tink, tink. It's weird.
The running boards.
It's something's. It is a rock.
Yeah.
Hitting that, but it is always over here.
Mm-hmm.
Weird coincidence.
It
But
is.
we don't believe in coincidences. Ford conspiracy. Anyway, Expedition Tremor. I've actually liked this thing quite a bit.
Yeah, so have I.
I've made a lot of comparisons in my mind over the week to the Navigator that we were just in, and I might lean this way. But I'm gonna let you cover the things that stuck out to you and some pros and cons.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So let's start out with the looks, dude.
The
I know it's
looks.
subjective, but I really, really like the looks that they have on here. I think that it wears this package, the Tremor package, really well.
It does.
You have a really nice paint, the Glacier Gray Metallic.
Yer.
The little bronze accent in the wheels look really good to me. You like too?
100%.
Two-tone paint, I like it.
Toe
Like,
looks up there.
I think this thing looks really, really good.
It
And
is
I've
style
actually
boy.
gotten a lot of compliments on it as well. And like,
Oh.
it's kind of surprising because you wouldn't really expect that on a 3-row, but yeah, I did get quite a lot of compliments and comments on just the exterior styling. So
It is hard to style a big 3-row brick,
Yep.
and
that's
they've
true.
done well.
I think so.
They could have gone overboard with like the gold Tremor accents. They didn't. They used some restraint. It almost went too far with some of the spoke detailing in the wheels, but I think it's done well.
Yeah, I think so.
Tastefully done.
I guess like I've gotten more compliments on this than the Lincoln that we had. So, and like that's a
Sure.
$30,000+ difference. in
Yeah, and that was the
vehicle
black
price.
label with the crazy like 24-inch wheels
Yep.
and wild stuff going on.
Yeah. But, and then like on top of that, it's not just the looks, like you get a lot of functioning things that actually work here. Like you have the e-locker, you have the turn assist, which I'm so surprised
Yeah,
that
the
this big of a
trail
thing.
turn assist that we had in the Bronco.
Yes.
So it's going to lock that inside wheel and drag it to reduce your turning circle on tight trails, which is super helpful here in
Yep.
Wisconsin. It's probably not super easy on your diff. So just keep that in mind. Maybe don't use it a lot.
I will say just in general, this thing has a really good turning radius for the size of the vehicle. Like in parking
impressed.
lots,
Yeah.
it does a nice job maneuvering.
100%.
Really impressive there.
I totally agree.
Just to kind of wrap up some of those off-road features that you get, I'm sure you already mentioned in the video, but the 33s, the off-road shocks, which I actually think like ride on the road really, really well.
It's translated really, really well. A lot of times you get off-road suspension, Bilsteins come to mind, and they end up being like really stiff and kind of punishing to help control the body off-road. But you get nice travel here. The damping is really well done. It feels really sedate. I don't get like a huge amount of like truck body on frame judder from the rear after I go over bumps. It's really well done.
Yep. Yeah, and then the seats are also really comfortable as well. I know you took this down to Chicago. You had like a longer haul trip in it, and I think you said like it felt big. Obviously it is big, but it was like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with the seat or the ride. It just
Yeah.
felt big. I mean, I am sitting up and I've got great visibility, so it wasn't like overly stressful. It was just, it's taking up a lot of space in the lane. But yeah, the seats were fantastic, heated, cooled. If you don't go for the Tremor, you can get some massage stuff going on.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
no
unfortunately,
problems with the comfort.
Unfortunately, we don't get that here. The wheels, obviously, being off-road, more focused, and 33s, like they're a bit louder in terms of tire noise, but you have Bang & Olufsen here. Just turn up the volume.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Good sound system here as well.
Yeah, there wasn't too much highway noise going down to Chicago or anything.
Love the steering wheel.
Love the steering wheel.
Love the steering
Love
wheel.
this steering
I don't actually understand
Put it everywhere.
why it gets so much flack online. Like, to me, not only is it cool and does it feel cool when you turn, but you actually get more visibility of your dash, which I can really
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, your Prius
It's in the way.
has this sort of similar thing going on where it's like somewhere between a gauge cluster and a head-up display, and it's got a full round steering wheel. And then depending on how it's oriented, it's cutting off the bottom of the screen. This, I think, is done just a tiny bit better.
Yeah.
Like
no.
they drove a Prius and they were like, oh, it'd be nicer if the top of the steering wheel was flat.
Yeah.
And then you could see.
Yeah.
So
no.
I like it. I love it.
That part of the
especially at 90
steering wheel,
degrees.
that part of the steering wheel makes a lot of sense. What doesn't is the buttons, and we kind of harped on
get me
this
started.
in the Lincoln, but they're just frustrating to use. It doesn't really seem like it's a necessity and like progressing in the right direction, honestly. Matt's saying no.
It's misplaced too. Like this is the whole like EV Tesla-fied controls. A lot of EVs do this where they're like, let's get rid of all the physical buttons, put everything in the screen. Like Ford didn't need to do this.
Yeah.
This is like a legacy type product. There's not even a hybrid on offer here.
Right.
So this is just like confusing. It's innovation for innovation's sake.
Yep.
Everyone and their mom always asks for more physical buttons. So I thought we kind of, like, I thought the automakers understood that.
Hopefully they'll take that feedback and incorporate it into the newer models.
Some of the manufacturers have started to act on it. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. I think,
come on, Ford.
there's hope. There's hope.
They'll get it together.
Just last little comment on that, like the Mach-E used to have the gear selector dial as well. They went to a stock, which I like here. I like that. Here you still have the dial. I mean, that's just kind of like a minor complaint. In normal mode, this thing feels sluggish.
Wait, what's normal mode? Do you mean balanced everyday driving mode?
I do mean that mode, yeah.
You didn't see normal above it. You just saw the description of the mode. Sorry, continue.
You love that
So
one.
in normal mode.
Yeah, it feels sluggish, and you mentioned like it kind of struggled to determine what gear it should be in, and I felt that too. Honestly, I couldn't actually really drive this in normal mode. I had to put it in sport. Here it feels a lot more responsive. It feels like if I want some power, it can get me there. It just feels to me more at home in sport than normal. Like I wish they tuned normal a little bit differently, and then eco honestly feels just like normal. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
Normal. I was kind of playing
eco,
around.
They just feel kind of lazy. Transmission's in a really high gear, so anytime you want any power, it's got a downshift like 2 gears, and that takes a minute. Then the turbo's got to spool up, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So it does feel the most natural to drive, weirdly, in sport mode. So.
But I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. I know they're different things, but for the price, like, I'd rather just get like a normal Expedition kitted out than I think a Lincoln Navigator, honestly. Like,
yes,
this is plenty good enough for me.
Yeah.
And you're saving a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, the ride is still really, and especially even on this Tremor here with the off-road tires and the off-road suspension and like the lift and everything, like you're really not making compromises. Yeah, there's a tiny bit more road noise, but the ride is still really supple. Yeah. You know, with music playing on your Bang & Olufsen speakers and everything, like it still feels like a pretty nice and high-end experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, well, on that note, I think it's a good place to end the video. So thank you to Ford for letting us have a go in the Expedition Tremor Edition. We really appreciate it, and thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you guys in the next one, maybe, if we survive. Bye.
Bye, guys.
What is happening?
Oh, no.
We've been...
It's the 100K curve.
Honk screeched at? Yes, it must be.
What the hell was that at? I got to call. Your timer went off, cut off the camera.
What is happening?
But I actually felt like the content was good.
It was good. We'll be able to cobble something together.